The newest set from Magic the Gathering, Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth, is a set that some may not be paying attention to. It's a direct-to-modern set, but it's basically a Commander-focused set like so many others lately. Which means we're bombarded with new cards, many of which have flown under the radar. Let me know in the comments below if you've been paying attention to the latest reveals or not. But there are some great new toys in this set for us as Commander players. Make sure to keep your eyes open for these. And pre-order them now from my friends at Hairy Tarantula. Use my promo code CMDR5 for 5% off your first order, or CMDR Mechanic to help support the channel. Order now to make sure you get these cards while you can. They are in hot demand. Now, as always, some honorable mentions before I talk about my top 5. Cards that are great in the format, but fall just outside of mention. Starting with all of the legends in the set. Even if you aren't a Lord of the Rings fan, there's a legend in this set that will do something really cool and inspires you to build a deck. Whether it's using new mechanics like being tempted by the ring, synergies with casting multicolored spells, or dedicated saga commanders, there's more than enough in this set to really get those creative juices flowing. Let me know which ones you're most excited about, because there will be brews coming soon. Another honorable mention to some of the awesome white cards in the set. From Flowering of the White Tree, to Forge Anew, to Dawn of a New Age, I think it's safe to say white's really been pushed lately. As a color, overall, it's received a ton of new utility, had its strengths strengthened, and its weaknesses shorn up. If you've got decks playing white, you should be very, very happy with the set. And what are honorable mentions without some dishonorable mentions? And that's just for the sheer volume of new cards in the set. Y'all, it's getting really hard to keep track of everything. I don't know if you feel the same way I do, but I pay attention to these sets as they're released, and there's just so many cards that I can't remember them all anymore. And that's as someone who makes Magic content. Imagine how absolutely daunting it is for someone just getting into the game to pour through all of this. It is exhausting. But with that said, let's get to my top 5. And these are my personal top 5 based on versatility, utility, and playability. If you've got objections, post them in the comments. But first, hit all those good buttons. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to join the Brew Crew, and never miss sweet deck techs coming each and every week. At number 5, we have Orcish Bowmasters. It seems everyone's going crazy about these guys right now for more than just Commander. But in Commander, and regardless of power level of the game, these dorks do work. With Flash, you can surprise opponents with damage and 2 bodies thanks to the Amass mechanic, but everyone loves to draw cards in Commander. While not as punishing as a Notion Thief, or a Hull Breacher, rest in peace, or Leovold or Narset Parter of Veils, this is certainly one you want to pair with wheel effects too. You see, with the ability to deal a damage for every card your opponents draw beyond their draw step, wheel effects are 21 damage to throw around at anything you want, creatures, planeswalkers, or players, on top of making one beefy body. Amassing 21 times for each wheel effect, 3 opponents drawing 7 cards each, you get to potentially take an opponent out and threaten a massively improved board state. Even better when you flash it in response to an opponent's own wheel effect. I think we'll be seeing these guys in the format for a while. They aren't oppressive, but they're good, and expect them to be a staple at various power levels. Everyone should own a copy, and everyone should have fun exploiting it at least once. At number 4 is Palantir of Orthanc. This 3-mana mythic legendary artifact is colorless card quality and card draw, and that's incredible. And while your opponent gets to choose to give you the draw or not, the alternative is potentially a face full of damage for their insolence. Being able to scry 2 each turn alone is great. Sensei's Divining Top, while more controllable, certainly costs a lot more than 3 mana throughout the course of a game, and you can't ditch cards you don't want. And triggering at the end of your turn means you can set up the next turn right away too. Look at it this way. Endless Atlas sees a lot of play, especially in monocolored decks, as a repeatable source of card draw for colors that don't often have more options. The Palantir costs less over time and draws just as many cards, while also potentially reducing opponents' life totals substantially. And if your opponents choose not to let you draw, you put the cards into your graveyard, which in a lot of cases might as well be your hand. I see people calling this too slow, but drawing a card a turn, or milling and dealing damage each turn, is all upside for a lot of decks and a lot of players, and I anticipate this one's going to see a lot more play than you'd expect. At number 3 is Fiery Inscription. In a set full of really powerful cards, how does this uncommon enchantment crack the top 5? Easy. Gutter Snipe. Gutter Snipe is one of the most played red cards, and an absolute staple in any kind of spell-slinging deck containing red, which is, arguably, more than ever. But the issues with Gutter Snipe are many. He doesn't do anything the turn he comes into play. You need to cast a spell to trigger him, and he's easily removed. Fiery Inscription solves all of those issues, having the ring tempt you when it enters, for multiple levels of fun and profit, and having a Gutter Snipe effect of dealing 2 damage to each opponent on the cast of an instant or sorcery. This enchantment is harder to remove and does, like, everything you want it to do. The trade-off is that it can't be enchanted, with a Vampiric Link or a Curiosity, for fun and profit. But it's ensured to stick around a lot longer than a 2 toughness creature would. At the very least, this gets played in all of the same decks Gutter Snipe or Firebrand Archer gets played in, which is numerous. But because this has the temptation of the ring, I wouldn't expect it to be reprinted nearly as often as Gutter Snipe has been. So pick up your copies to make sure you've got them. And at number 2 on my list is Delighted Halfling. If we want to talk about cards that are going to be played in Commander until the end of time, it's this mana dork. A 1/2 for 1 mana and making a colorless mana, it's already a better mana dork than many others, if just for the ability to profitably block 1/1s all day long. But it also has the conditional ability to be a Cavern of Souls for your legendary spells. That's right, it makes a mana of any color and prevents legendary spells from being countered. We've all been in situations where we've had our commanders countered and left us in the dust. I'm looking at you, Olivia. But this new friend stops that from happening. Even at a worst case scenario, this is just a good mana dork. I fully expect it to take over as the number 1 played mana dork, ahead of Birds of Paradise and Llanowar Elves in a short period, thanks to the power of our format and the power of having an uncounterable commander. The only thing that's going to hold people back from playing it is the current price tag of about $12. But if we've learned our lessons from cards like Esper Sentinel, pick this up while you can. At that price tag, it's still a great get. And at number 1 on my list is Mithril Coat. This is another card that seems like it was custom made for our format. A 3 mana equipment, it has flash, is indestructible, and gives the equipped creature indestructible. It equips for 3, but on enters the battlefield, it free equips to a legendary creature you control. And we Commander players love our legendary creatures. This is a Darksteel plate that also acts as a gotcha spell, blanking targeted removal or saving your commander from a board wipe. And Darksteel plate sees a lot of play in the format, being a card that is consistently over $5 for exactly that reason. If you're wiping the board over and over, or your commander is a vital part of your game plan, or you want them to attack and survive combat reliably, Mithril Coat is one of the best equipments you can ask for. I really like the trend of equipment that attaches for free on enters the battlefield, like Maul of the Skyclaves or Cliffhaven Kitesail, 2 of my favorite equipments ever. It makes it easy to justify an equipment when the only benefit to them has to factor in cost plus equip cost. And if you like the reconfigure equipment like Lizard Blades from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, then this is along the same vein, an equipment that has value as soon as it comes down. I really like it, and I think it's almost on the same level as Swiftfoot Boots or Lightning Greaves, though it can't save your creatures from exile effects. Still an excellent card and will see a lot of play. Let me know what your favorite card from Tales of Middle-earth is, and what you're excited to pick up when the set releases soon. Also, be sure to check out my sponsor, Moxfield, the best deck building platform in the world. You can go there now and follow my profile, linked below, to see some cool new brews featuring cards from this set. Do not miss out. Check out these other brews on the channel, and if you were inspired to build any decks today, you have to hit that subscribe button. As always, folks, good luck and have fun.